and you're one of the best. You sincerely are. We'll get you out of here with a little bit of fantasy content for the audience.
Let's do it.
You don't need to pull out any rankings, just general ADP in your head. Are you higher or lower on these? We'll call it three names. I got
Okay.
three great names for you.
Alrighty.
First one is Calvin Ridley.
I am a little bit lower probably than where I'll end up being drafted. I'm not trying to fence it here. I would just note that I'm always amazed when we go to the ADP data on ESPN. Um, Big names get drafted way higher than sort of fantasy nerds would draft them. Like Patrick Mahomes will always be like one of the 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 highest drafted players, even though in every league that I play in, he'll last, a little bit longer than that, right? I think Ridley will end up being drafted higher because it's kind of the shiny object syndrome. Um, love the player, love the story. I'm probably a little bit lower. And if I had to sort of like state the concern, it would be just that the Jaguars had like this perfectly balanced offense last year, and everybody that was on that offense is back. So I don't know if Calvin Ridley like definitely is the number one wide receiver in Jacksonville this year. Christian Kirk could very easily be that, and Calvin Ridley could very easily be the two or even like the 2/3 because Zay Jones was really good as well last season. I have him like around wide receiver 28, I think, in my most recent rankings.
Yeah, there's that and the gambling addiction. So you don't know if he'll
Hopefully that's a
be
thing of the
available
past.
all season.
Yeah.
Uh, Tight end, New York Giants, Darren Waller. Is he on the back end of things here, or is he still a stud?
I think he is. I think he is in a really sweet spot right now for where things go uh, this season because first of all, I don't want to sound like a therapist, but it's good when family business is good, right? It did not. Him and Josh McDaniels clearly didn't seem to see eye to eye, so it's good that he's in a place where he feels valued and feels motivated. He plays a position where we are desperate for uh, players, and he is, at least in my estimation, clearly the most talented Giants pass catcher. So I think he's due for a season much more in line with where he was prior to like the past season and a half. And at tight end, we are not just looking for volume, but like just big playability and red zone aptitude really matter. Waller last year, even in the tiny sample size, second amongst all tight ends in yards per catch. Like he's one of the freakiest athletes in all of sports. If he's healthy, and it sounds like he is, in a good space, he should have a really good season.
Third and final name, Ramondre Stevenson. Are you higher or lower than average ADP for
Right
the
on the
Pats run?
button. Yeah, I'm probably right on the
Okay.
button here for Ramondre, and just feels like it'd be tough for Ramondre to really fail this season, absent health, which is a caveat for every player. But even if his receiving goes down, he actually was third amongst running backs in catches last year. Only Christian McCaffrey and Austin Eckler were behind him. But even if that number drops, which is reasonable to expect because the Patriots will have a more high functioning offense this year and have a lot of pass catchers, even if not a star pass catcher yet. Um, that number could drop, but the rushing feels so stable because the backfield depth behind him is, um, the NFL has shown us you can find running back kind of out of nowhere, but it's still like a pretty small sample size of like of NFL evidence for like Pierre Strong and Kevin Harris behind him. So just feels like he's due for a very, very good role. And he is super talented. Like take away just like like just the number of opportunities. Like you watch him on a play-by-play basis, and I think the Patriots were one of the least watchable offenses that I can recall in a long time last year. But Ramondre Stevenson, when he had the ball, made it worth my time.
Okay. Last fantasy question. A guy
Yeah,
who has never ended up on one of your squads,
yeah.
but your favorite guy who has never landed on one of your squads. Mine, his
Okay.
name's Amon Ross St. Brown. I can
Yeah,
never get him. I love
yeah,
him, and he performs.
yeah. He does. He's also this is it's because I play in so many leagues and it's sort of I call it market research, right? You kind of have to. I have had a lot of exposure to players, but guys that I feel like I've been underexposed to um, in my most recent years. It's like you're invariably going to have the Cooper Cups and the Jeffersons and the whatever the star running backs, the Ecklers and the McCaffreys. Um, he's young; it's only his third year, but I haven't, and I know it's a small run of this, but I haven't had the Justin Fields experience yet, and I'm looking forward to that one just because. Even if they run him a lot less this year, which with a much better group of pass catchers, they probably will. He's lightning in a bottle, man, and he is. I don't want to be hyperbolic, but one of the best athletes that we've ever seen at the quarterback position. And I think that sometimes when teams say they're going to run a quarterback a lot less, it sounds good in May and June, but when wins and losses are on the line, I think it feels a lot different. And we've seen this out of Buffalo in the past. Josh Allen's going to run the ball less, and then he runs the ball more. That could be the case with Justin Fields. Like it may not be quite as many carries, but he still could have 110 attempts next year, and it wouldn't surprise me a bit.